Hey family, come on in, come on in.
Come on in. Happy Friday, everyone.
Always good to hang with you guys. Let us know where you're streaming from. Let us know where you're watching from. Put it in the chat.
It's always interesting to hear from, like everywhere people are streaming from.
Absolutely.
If you're traveling, let us know where you're at.
Come on, let us know.
This has been a really interesting week this week. We've been trying to get our house together, and
that's a never-ending process.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was looking at the news, and gas prices in California are over $7 a gallon.
Right.
I was actually hearing the rapper. You sometimes Charmaine watches this guy named Plies. He has little messages. And right now, Domino's Pizza says, "Listen, we'll give you $3 if you come pick up your pizza." So he's like, "Man, if gas is $7 a gallon, and it's gonna take me a gallon to get to you, I lost."
Right.
And I thought about it. I said, it's true, because
right.
in the market right now, where gas is so expensive, I see opportunity for people to get into some heated fellowship.
Right.
Over the prices of inflation, gas, milk, food, everything now is being inflated.
It's definitely going to affect a lot of couples, even with date night and trying to do things together. We're going to have to get creative as couples and do things a little bit differently, because with inflation, it's going to affect every area of your finances. So you might have to shift, that entertainment budget into gas or into groceries, and get creative at home and do things. And we just don't want anybody to fall into the trap of the enemy as far as getting into heated fellowship over things that you are totally out of control. You have no control over inflation. So just make sure that you all are connecting often, as far as communicating and letting each other know how you're feeling about certain things that are changing, and having new ideas and fresh ideas on things that you guys could possibly be doing in order to.
In Europe, what they do? They get a bike.
They get a bike.
They ain't even stressing gas prices,
right?
Because the gas prices usually are already high over there, and people walk and take. Obviously there's different ways to attack you.
Right.
You could ride more. Sometimes it's carpool. Every now and then, Charmaine and I will drive together, and it's a cool situation. It's just you have to find ways to navigate through the challenges that are unforeseen.
Right.
Manage the manageables.
Absolutely.
Well, we're so happy with you guys again tonight. My name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
And we come together on Friday nights, and we have real, raw, and relevant conversation pertaining to marriage. We've been married now almost 24 years.
I know, right?
Can you believe it? Our anniversary is coming up, and we are just super excited to be with you and to share some of the wisdom that we have learned over these 20 plus years.
We have a
marriage.
great topic tonight.
Yeah. Tonight's topic: the 7 top ways to improve your marriage. 7 top ways to improve your marriage. Now, I never want to steal his thunder. We get our information, the researchers, from Dr. Gottman.
Yes.
He has been studying the guru of marriage.
Right.
He has been studying for over 50 years on the topic of marriage, and has science-based research on statistics dealing with married couples and the tendencies that lead people astray or to their success. So tonight we're going to deal with the 7 things that you can do, praise God, to fix your marriage.
And these are some new, this is some new advice, some new information that we've never talked about.
Correct.
Here on Friday Night Live. So this will be very interesting. Number 1.
Seek help early.
Wow. I mean, it seems so simple, but seeking help early is something that we don't normally do as couples. Why do you think?
I think first off, it's embarrassment.
Pride,
shame,
right?
Ignorance. And when I say ignorance, is many just assume it's supposed to be this way.
Right.
And the sad part of it, I was reading this article. The average couple waits 6 years to seek help.
The average couple waits 6 years. That means you are you're in ICU. Your relationship is literally in ICU before you get help. So we want to make sure that you all know, number 1 advice: don't wait an average of 6 years before you get help. When you see a problem, attack it.
And most marriages don't last to 7. So think about it. if most marriages don't last to 7 and most people are not getting help, what's the likelihood of you succeeding if you don't get help?
Right.
Now, the challenge is you cannot be ashamed to say, I need help.
Right. And setting your marriage up for success is partly due to what couples you're surrounding yourself with. Who is your core? Who is your village, per se? Like,
who's your crew?
Who is your crew? And what do their marriages look like? What advice are you getting? What are you seeing? What are you putting in front of you?
Yeah, that's good.
What marriage conferences are you going to? What are you putting in? What are you investing into your marriage?
What models and mentors have you put in place for you to succeed?
Right.
There's not a class on how to be a husband or a class on how to be a wife. Now, there's tips, but you have to apply, you have to learn, and you have to work your relationship. You have to improve in different areas of your relationship to succeed. So, number one, get help. Don't wait for your whole house to be on fire before you call the fire department. My God, when you see smoke, put some water on it.
Right.
And too many times we just think it's going to get better without being dealt with.
Right.
Listen, you'll never change what you don't confront.
That's good.
You'll never change what you don't confront.
That's good.
So seek help early.
All right, number 2, edit yourself. We always talk about the sandwich rule because what you don't want to do is you don't want to confront a disagreement and it be straight up negative, like from the very beginning.
You're sorry.
Because the thing is when you do that to somebody,
Correct.
they go on the defense right away.
Absolutely.
They totally shut down.
Correct.
They're not listening.
Correct.
So your communication is for naught. So what you want to do is you want to sandwich it. You want to talk about some positives. Hey babe, I really appreciate you. I see what you're trying to do for our family. I really think you're great in these areas of our relationship. Then you put the meat and potatoes in it. I really feel like we could work on these things together. How do you think we could work on them? That's how you get them to join in on the conversation, asking the question, how can we do this together? How can we improve in this area together? It doesn't have to be your problem per se, but because you're married, you're one, it is your problem. So you want to join them in working on whatever the issue is. And then at the very end of the conversation, after you guys have kind of come to a resolution, then you say, babe, I really love you and I appreciate you listening to me and making my concerns your concerns. And I look forward to us working together on this. And, I'm excited for the future with us. Whatever you want to say, you put your words in. But you want to sandwich it. Positive, the issue, and positives.
Correct.
So
you want to, prior to confronting a person, you have to have a game plan.
Right.
Okay, certain things you want. Number one, you want to address the issue. Mm-hmm. Number 2, you want to keep their self-esteem intact.
Right.
And number 3, you want improvement.
Right.
So before you even confront a person, make sure you're in a good place to communicate without venom.
Right.
Because you're not going to get what you want to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So when we say edit yourself, maybe you need to do a spell check on your words.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? Before you communicate, read it, write it out, and would anybody receive this in a positive manner? Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, it's not just how you say it, it's how they receive it.
Right.
And you want to make sure you put it on the plate to where the person can eat it.
Right. That's good.
All right, number 3.
Soften yourself or soften your startup. Now, sometimes when we get into arguments, it's not a planned thing.
Yeah.
It's not something that we're able to really process and think about before we go in and try to, make amends or create correct behavior. I think the first thing you should do to soften your startup is pray.
That's a great way to soften up. I thought about softening it up. Holding hands.
That's good. Touch. The power of touch.
Sit down.
Disarming, right?
Look each other in the eye.
Right.
Explain how you feel.
That's good.
A soft start is before I blame, I explain how I'm feeling.
That's good.
Before I attack you, I said, babe, this is how I feel right now, based on this.
Right.
So I'm not attacking you. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying this is what I'm feeling right now, and I want help to figure out how I don't feel like this anymore.
Right.
You know, for example, I don't really feel appreciated. I'm not blaming you, but I just feel like, you know, what I do doesn't provide value, and I may be wrong, but that's how I'm feeling right now.
Right.
And so I didn't say, you know what, you don't honor me, you don't respect me, you don't appreciate me, versus just saying, I feel like, you know, I feel like I don't feel value in this relationship.
Right.
And it's funny, that's one of the things that we hear over and over and over
Absolutely.
again. I mean, that's like top 3 things,
right.
You know, because, you know, one of the key things that we're hearing a lot is, I don't need nobody. Oh, okay. If you keep saying you don't need nobody.
When you tell your husband that you don't need him, you've totally crushed him, because men want to protect, they want to provide, they want to be a provider.
Healthy men
want to be a provider. So when you say I don't need you, you've totally ruined what he may see as his value in the relationship.
You've killed the potential, because you're good.
Right.
So if you're good, then he'll have to find a place to where he's good.
Right. Or he feels like he's needed.
And he'll find somebody going to say he's needed.
Right.
And
then you've just created this unmet need in your relationship for him.
Correct. Yeah. Men want value. Men, right. and women do too. I'm not trying to put it in a slanted version, but I think we got to be very judicious and wise with our words, because we are creating monsters that we really don't want.
I really do believe in my heart that when some women say that, they're just talking about finances and they're not talking about needing the person as a whole.
Correct.
They're not really communicating very well, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And when you make a blanket statement like that, the person, wherever they feel like they're lacking or they're insecure in, they're going to filter it through those lenses.
Yes.
So if they feel like you make more money than them, and that's their Achilles heel, and
that's the button you want to push,
right, then when you say I don't need you, they're going to think, well, obviously you don't need me because you make more money than me.
Correct.
They're going to assume that that's what it is. Or if they feel like, you know, you're you know, like you're out of their league as far as looks or something like that, when you say I don't need you, oh, of course you don't need me, because people come up to you all the time and compliment you on the way you look, and you could definitely do better. Wherever they feel insecure or they feel like there's lack, they're going to attach it to what you don't need about them. So you want to make sure when you're communicating that you're doing it in a way where you're being specific. And telling someone that you don't need them is really just you're attacking them. Point blank period.
That's a diss.
Right, it is.
That's like, you know, that's
right,
just
like,
yeah. So, you know, a person wants to be needed. So when you say that, you have opened the door to be needed somewhere else.
Absolutely.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, I'm sorry.
And here's this one, another one. This is great research and great study. Number 4, accept the influence of the partner. Now, in research, they have found out women are more easily able to receive the influence of a man. But men struggle to receive the influence of a woman.
Why do you think? It's
pride.
That lion mentality.
Sometimes. I know for me, I made tremendous mistakes in our marriage, not receiving from you because I just thought I was smarter than you. And most of the times I would still believe I'm smarter than you. And I think I know more. And I'm not saying I do. I think.
Right.
So what happens, you will allow what you think to factor into your decision-making process.
Right.
So therefore now I don't value your voice.
Right. And it comes out in your words too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Charmaine had said many times she would say things to me that I didn't receive at the moment. Let me make a simple one, right? So she had this app on her phone called Waze. Okay, I had this app on my phone, Google Maps, right? So we're both, I like Google Maps, she like Waze, Google Maps. I said, I don't care, we get there at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So then one day we were in the car and she said, Jomo, you should get Waze. But see, I didn't want to get Waze because if I got Waze, I would be surrendering to her way. So I didn't want to do this, right? So I'm sitting there and we're in a car and she has Waze on and I have Google Maps on, right? And we drive, right? And then I hear Waze say, car on the side of the road. And I'm looking and Google ain't told me nothing. Then I looked again, Waze says police officer up ahead. Waze ain't, Google ain't saying nothing. Then all of a sudden I said, wait a second, Waze is better than that. And I still didn't tell her that it was better. After that trip, I put that thing on my phone and I kept on with, but what was it? Pride. Right. And this is just a GPS device. It should not be that deep. And that's why we see so many times we're in a car and, your wife say, baby, I don't think we're going the right way. Babe, I've been here before. And it's like we struggle to receive and understand, my brothers out there. The Bible calls the wife the helpmate. Right.
Use your help.
Use your help.
Yes.
She is a helpmate. If God named her a helpmate, it means God already knew you needed help.
Come on now.
So if God says, here, my brother, here is your help. Remember, the Bible says that God took the rib out of man and put in woman. So therefore, she has something that we need. Mm-hmm. And if we're together, she's my rib. And now we can ride together. So we have to be mindful in this journey that we need each other. So that it says there, in studying heterosexual marriages, we found that a relationship succeeds to the extent that the husband can accept the influence of a wife.
Come on.
Meaning, can you listen to her? I'm going to say it again. Can you listen to her?
Right.
Right now in the chat. Right now in the chat. Right now in the chat. I was like, please listen to me.
Good.
Come on, in the chat. Right. Please listen to me. Come on, ladies. Y'all. How many times have you asked your husband to listen? Right. The research states marriage succeeds based on the ability to allow their spouse to speak into their life. Come on, right now. There should be hearts fluttering, likes fluttering. Right now, I'm talking to you because
Right.
How many times in a relationship have you heard our spouse say it to us, but we didn't listen?
Right.
And later on down the line, it came to pass.
And really, you're working as a team when you do that.
Of course.
You're working as a team. You're working together. And that's the ultimate goal.
I have to be able to hear my wife better than I hear my boss.
Right.
I have to be able to hear her voice greater than the voices at the club, at the ball field, wherever you do business. Because when it deals with business, it's amazing how men ears perk up, business, balling, money, but in the relationship we're not tuned in to our spouses like we should be. And I know for me, God rebuked me on my lack of listening. And Charmaine will tell me sometimes you don't listen. And I'm trying to, y'all. I'm trying to. Brothers out there, brothers say, I'm trying. Come on, brother. In the chat right now, brother, say, I'm trying. It's an imperfect art, man.
Yeah.
You never get good at it.
Right.
You never get good enough at it. It's something you should always be working on.
Right. You never master it totally. It's something we're always working on. All right, number 5.
Set high standards.
Don't expect the negative in your relationship. Always set a high standard.
Here's another way of saying it. Don't put up with stuff you shouldn't put up.
Right.
So if someone is talking to you a certain way, we have to make a decision that we're not going to talk to each other like that.
Right.
We're not going to act the fool outside the house. Set high standards.
Like if you work at a business and you know that you operate on good customer service. How can you give good customer service at your job and not give good customer service
man.
in your marriage?
I need to be serviced.
That sounds a little sexual.
And where we at? We up in the bedroom.
We in the bedroom.
Listen, I need service and to be served.
And at a high standard.
At a high standard.
Yeah, don't just be throwing stuff.
Come on. I want you to wait. I want you to wait on me. No, but see,
with a good attitude.
We have to understand that you should not settle for anything less than you should.
Right.
And what I mean by high standards, how do you talk to your boss? Mm-hmm. How do you talk on your job? Don't you think you should talk better at home than you do at work? Set high standards.
That's good.
And so it's a mindset that we're going to honor each other, and we're going to do things in a certain way because I'm doing it for my bride or my husband, because I'm setting a high standard and I'm not going to settle for that.
Right.
And that's something that you mutually have to come to an agreement with. So if there are some things in the past that happened that may have taken you off course, create some from now on and some never agains. From now on, we'll never do that again, and never agains. Now on and never agains. So just put in your marriage. Okay, right. We did that one time, but from now on, we're never going to do that again. So as you cross bridges and set standards, improve.
Right.
And say, listen, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're too far gone for that. All
That's
right.
good. Number 6, learn to repair and exit the argument. Learn to repair and exit the argument.
If you are not in a good space to receive or communicate, slow down, take a pause, give each other some slack. Okay? What's slack, Jomo? Sit, listen, ask, compromise, kiss. Sit.
Now, we know a lot of couples that when the spouse says in heated fellowship, I need a moment,
they don't listen.
The other spouse does not respect the fact that one person said, I need a moment.
They don't care.
Give them that moment, because what you're going to do is you're going to get what you don't want.
And I don't understand, why is it that a judge could say silence or pause,
right,
or break, because
they respect the judge.
Oh, in sports we do this.
Timeout. Yeah.
And listen, how about this? You can't always get a timeout, but when you see it's escalating to a certain space,
right, when it's becoming toxic,
wisdom says give each other some space to where you can mellow out,
right,
and have an intelligible conversation. Because if I'm yelling and cussing, the likelihood of someone receiving is not good.
Right. In a positive way, like if you want to end this on a positive note, why would you even start the conversation that way? Or if the conversation is going that way, why wouldn't you want to pause?
Yeah.
And kind of hit a reset. Okay, let's reset this conversation, because we're not getting anywhere going in the direction we're going right now.
How can I communicate this better that you can receive it?
That's so good. Put it back on the other person.
Yeah. Obviously, you're not receiving it the way I'm trying to give it to you.
Right. And if you do want to pause, we always say, let the person know how long.
Yeah, give them
Don't
time.
Leave the person hanging.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to pause for a week. Hell no. We ain't pausing for no week.
Or,
give me an hour.
Give them an hour. Say, can I write it down? Or bullet point to me what your issues are, so that we don't have to it doesn't have to get so hot.
Right. We
could just talk about the points.
Exactly.
And bring it down a little bit, because the Bible says in James that the wrath of man doesn't lead to the righteousness of Christ.
That's
meaning,
good.
When you get angry, you are not going to get to where you want to get to in the right spirit.
Right.
Anger leads to danger. Anger leads to danger. Right. That one D that you add on to anger leads to danger.
Right.
So therefore, you put yourself in a spot to where bad things could happen that you may not want to happen. Wisdom says to slow down.
That's good. That's good.
Lastly, number 7. Focus on the positives.
Yes.
Focus on the positives. I read this Couples need to make at least 5 times as many positive statements to each other about the relationship than negatives. Right. So I need to say, if I'm saying something negative, okay, I have to counteract the negative thing I said with 5 positive statements.
Right.
So for every negative thing you say, you need 5 positive statements. So some of you got a whole bunch of catching up to do because your mouth, oh my gosh, is all negative. Now, this is for a healthy relationship.
Right.
Before we started recording this message this evening, you know what? I have been talking about this chick being so fine. I said at least 6 times. I said, girl, you look good. You look good to me. Girl, your booty. I'm just talking now. She's like, oh, I like that. Well, guess what? I'm watering my grass. You feel me? And my point to you is you have to, so if you pour enough positives into their emotional tank, right, when you have to say something corrective, it's not so damaging, right, because you put, for example, if
you're already depleted.
Correct. So for example, if she was a car and I was waxing that thing, right?
Wow.
Right? If you put, yes, if you put enough wax on the car, when something bumps up on it, it really never gets to the paint.
Right.
Because you waxed it.
Got so many coats of wax on
yes, yes.
That rain hit it and just rolled
off. Well, see, you got my thing down. You like that, did I? I know that.
I didn't know where you was
you
going.
You didn't know you thought I was talking about sex. Anyway, so what happens when you can put enough cover on?
Right.
When things do come, it never sticks.
That's good.
Because it just rolls off.
That's good.
But if your car is not waxed properly, it gets a lot of scratches and dents. Unnecessary. But if you wax that thing good,
you are not right.
and you keep that emotional tank full,
yes, that's
you're
good.
more likely to succeed in this journey called marriage.
All right. Well, this has been a wonderful evening. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Friday Night Live. Remember, we are here every Friday at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And we upload videos on our YouTube channel every Thursday. So you can get us twice a week on Thursdays and Fridays every week. If you have not joined our YouTube channel, it's Jomo and Charmaine. Please subscribe. And remember,
love, laugh, and learn.
God bless you. Good night.
Peace.